My name is Miss Hart. I'm Head of Law at Queensberry Academy in Dunstable, and I'm here today to talk to you about the law and to introduce you to the study of the law and some of the issues involved in one particular area. So hopefully you have a copy of the handout available as well. Feel free to write all over the handout. That's why it's there. It's not meant as a neat here are all the answers handout, but rather a kind of thinking place. And also my email address is on the front page. So if you have any queries either about what we talk about today, or you want to know anything more about studying law further, or any other queries or questions that come up, I'm more than happy to be contacted. So I'm going to start by telling you a little bit about my journey. I'm actually from a place called York in North Yorkshire, which is a lovely city, and you can see it there in the top left-hand corner. It's a very small city. It's very historic as well. Lots of Romans, lots of Vikings. Everybody knows each other. And I went to a state secondary school. And then I went to our local sixth form college, which is what everybody did. So when I was choosing my A-levels, what was really important to me is subjects I was really interested in. And I will be honest, I was really torn between sciences and the arts. I had a friend who was exactly the same, and she took the science options that we liked, and she's now a doctor. And I took the arts options that we liked, and I'm now a teacher, so it's a bit strange really, but I decided to choose subjects that I really liked. So I always loved English. I teach English as well as law, so for me studying literature, loving Shakespeare, absolutely adored it. That wasn't a problem at all. I also love history. I love the stories behind what we do and why we do it and how things come about. So I took A-level history as well, which actually is something I still use in law to this day when we talk about things like separation of powers. And I also loved German. I loved learning new languages. I loved the order and the structure of it. So I took German as well. And I took what was known then as an AS level, where you could study a subject for a year in law. And I took that because I really, really was interested in law. It was always something I thought I might like. Yes, I was that person who liked it on the television, but my dad was a probation officer. So it was always something that we talked about in our house. And I knew I liked the idea of it, but I didn't know if I'd like the study of it, because obviously liking something and enjoying studying it can be quite different things. So I took it as an AS and really enjoyed it. So when it came to university, I really felt I had a choice, and I really, really was torn. And my choice was really between studying English, which I adored and I loved, and I love, I am a romantic Elizabethan. I love Shakespeare. I love the 16th century, the whole thing. And studying law, and I was really interested in law, and it really grabbed me. But my worry was that really I'd only done law for a year. And my worry was my love of it going to be enough? I didn't know if I wanted to academically pursue it. But I thought, well, a law degree is a good thing to have. So I researched universities for law, didn't really know what a good university was, but I picked the courses I liked. And I was like, right, okay, I'm going to do law. I'm going to do law. And then one day my parents sat me down and they said, look, it's 3 years. You've got to do something that you're going to love, because it's a long time to study and not really enjoy things. And then I started double thinking it and thinking, well, I'm not sure if I've studied enough law to really love it. So I swapped to English. I didn't do any research, I will be honest. All I did was swap the course codes. This is how not to apply for university, by the way. I just swapped the course codes. And I ended up with a choice of 2 universities. One, you can see at the top of the page, you can see the star in the middle is York. So you can see that really they were equidistant. I wanted a change. I wanted to be some distance from that. My 2 choices were St Andrews, which is a beautiful, beautiful little town and an excellent university in the north of Scotland. But it's little. It's really small. It's got one high street. It's that kind of place. And my other choice was King's College in London. So really, for me, the choice wasn't actually between universities. I was lucky they were both very good. My choice was between 2 places. So I opted to go to London, and I decided to go to London, never having been there before, but knowing that I wanted a bigger place to study in. So that's what I did. I studied English literature and language at King's, graduated quite a while ago. But in my last year, law started playing on my mind. And I'd done some courses at King's in English, which had brought up certain aspects that I was really interested in. And it started reminding me of some of my studies of law. So we started looking at mental health and how that was portrayed in some texts, and the treatment of the mentally disordered in the criminal law is an area of interest to me. So I started thinking, well, maybe I should study law. Maybe I need to go back to it. So that's what I did. I applied to do what's known as a postgraduate diploma, which is where basically you condense the essential areas of law into 1 year rather than studying them over. So I did that at City University in North London. It was a bit of a shock, I will be honest, because studying a humanities subject at university, you do 3-4 hours of contact a week. Studying postgraduate law, you do 9 to 5 Monday to Friday, and your week just started off with a lovely 3-hour taught lecture, which was a bit of a shock to the system, but I really enjoyed it, and actually I enjoyed the intensity of it. So I completed the course. But when I got to the end of the course, what I started thinking was, do I want to practice law? Because studying and practicing something are two quite different things. And I loved the academic argument of it. I loved the academic argument of various bits of the law, but I wasn't sure that I wanted to practice it. So what I decided to do was to take a year out and to really think about what I wanted to do. So I went back to York. I worked in a supermarket, really took a break from everything to decide what I wanted to do. And what I came up with as the solution to what I wanted to do, with a bit of help from my mother, was teaching. Because in teaching, I could use my subject knowledge, I could convey it, I could have enough of the academic side that I would be interested without going too far, and I would have enough of I loved talking about my subjects, and I loved opening them up to other people. So I did my PGCE at the University of Leeds, and then I applied to work at Queensberry Academy as an English teacher originally, set up the law department there, and it's already gone from there. So I've worked now in Dunstable for quite a few years. I will say that's not my entire academic history, because as a teacher, about 6 years into teaching, I decided I wanted to take law a little bit further. I'd set up the law department, I developed it, and I wanted to explore what I was teaching a little bit more. So I was lucky. My employer was very, very supportive, and helped to enable me to take the course. And I went back to King's in London and did a master's in criminal law, criminology and criminal justice while working full-time as a teacher, which was fantastic when students would say to me, I haven't done my homework, because my response would be, yes, but I have, and look, this is what I've got to do. So there's no real excuse. So I did that and graduated from that, did very well on that. And then a couple of years ago, which might indicate how old I am now, I got itchy feet again, and I decided that actually this time what I wanted to find out more about is the theory and the academic side of education. So I'm actually in the middle of a master's at the minute at UCL on education, which I do in addition to working full time. So I am probably going to be an eternal student, and I'm probably going to be an eternal teacher, because they're the two things I really love. I'm an unashamed geek. So that's my story. Right, let's go on and do some law. That's more interesting.